You're listening to an episode of Metal Gear Resurrections. On this episode, I'm joined with Nick Freda, a Metal Gear fan who not only played, endured, but also completed Snake's Revenge. And for Metal Gear fans all around the world, you should thank this man. He's also the moderator of the Metal Gear Mondays Discord, and all around great guest to have on. We had an awesome chat, and I hope you enjoy it. So, Nick, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. How are you doing, Johnny?
Not bad. Pretty chaotic. My power went out.
That was fast, though.
Oh well, luckily I'm in the living room where like the breaker box is like right in the kitchen, so I can just like run it over real quick and just like flip everything on again.
Nice.
But
any idea what tripped the breaker?
You know what it is? It's hot. It's getting hot over here, so now like we're all using our air conditioners, and you know I cut it off from this part of the place, but like you know I live in a place where the wiring's old. So if you plug in one too many things, like don't operate air conditioner and microwave at the same time, or your power will go out everywhere.
At the last house that we were living in, it was the house was built, I think, in like the 1940s or something, and it had the fuse box still had like these old they looked like almost like little miniature vacuum tubes. Like it was just a very strange old house. Like a carport that had been turned into a house. Very strange, but you know, that's the way of the landlord.
Oh, yeah. All right, Nick. So usually I start off with thanking the people coming on for taking their time for me and for my small amount of listeners that I have. But to start off, like, where did you get started with the series? Like, where did it all begin for you?
So it's a little foggy for me in remembering exactly where, and this could be a false memory, but I swear I was at a game store at one point, and I saw it was like one of those kiosks where, you know, they had the controller that you could grab, you walk right up to it and look up and see the screen and, you know, play the game right there in the store as a demo. But it's kind of surprising to me to think that they would have a mature rated game where you could do that. So I don't know if that's a false memory, but I remember, you know, and it was the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 1 and going in and, you know, see like actually making it up to like the truck, like where you get like the SOCOM in the first one that's hidden there in the truck. And somebody, I think one of my friends was with me, and they were talking about how you could, you know, snap the guy's neck, which is crazy. Like, it was like, I can't believe, that's why I'm like, I can't believe this is like available to play for a child in a store. But I never owned the game until years later. And I gotta say, I think it was probably not until I was in high school. So probably like 2002, maybe. A buddy of mine lent to me. He's like, yeah, you should give this a go. It's really, really good. My friend Joe. And I played through it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is unlike things I've played before. And this was like the PlayStation 1 generation. I had played people on our Discord where we know each other from, you and I, Johnny, know that I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, and so it was like just like this period of time where I'm like, games can be like this, like playing Final Fantasy 7 and then playing this, and it just you know, it was so cinematic and interesting that it really drew me in, and I just kept, you know, playing it over and over, trying to unlock the different endings, and yeah, just a really, really, I guess, formative experience in terms of like my excitement with like cinematic storytelling in games.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think you're misremembering, because I remember like yeah, I hear like I talked to a lot of people and hear the stories, and a lot of it started from the demo disc. But for me, I'm finally hearing from someone else, where I went to FuncoLand, like before GameStop, we had FuncoLand.
Dude, yes, it was FuncoLand, and I think that's where I played it.
And the manager where I was, he didn't give a shit about ratings. He would put any game he thought was good and was top seller. So Metal Gear Solid was in there, and that's where I saw it, and that's where I played it. And I immediately grabbed my mom, and we were like, "We gotta get this PlayStation. Like, this thing's like next level. Like, I'm tired of being Mario and rescuing the princess. Like, we need. I'm a teenager now. Like, I'm 14. I want to be like do adult stuff and like snap people's necks and run around the snow." And she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Let's check it out." And yeah, and like I played I was like there for like an hour, and like finally the guy was like, "Hey, get off my game system,
Oh
guy!"
my
Like everyone
gosh.
else wants to try it. Like, all right, hold on, come on. I didn't save you. I was like, "There's no memory card in there." I'm like, "Okay, fine." Like I'll leave. Sorry, sir. But
Yeah.
yeah, like good old Funkoland. Like
Funkoland.
a lot.
Funkoland was the best.
Yeah, before.
And yeah,
Go.
before they got bought, right? By
Yeah, man.
and yeah, it was interesting. Funkoland had now that you mention it, it
Hmm.
did seem like they had free reign to kind of do what they want. So maybe that was the situation. Because I remember walking into Funkoland one time, and on the TV behind the cash register or something, they would like the people that were
Hmm.
working there were playing. There was an anime on the TV up there, and
Oh,
they had
okay.
clearly put it on and were watching it, and there was straight up nudity in it. Like it was, I don't know, I don't even know which one it would have been, but
Yeah.
just remember thinking, yeah, this seems like it's kind of like the Wild West of game stores. They can kind of do what they want, but they also had this incredible.
Mm.
Did you ever get the newspaper, like the mailer? Like it was
Yes.
like a
Hmm.
multi-page newspaper fold out, and it told you the price of every single used game, so you could just
Hmm.
like leaf through that and see. I just remember that being
That was
uh
fun. Yeah,
crazy.
I was gonna say like also like if you went to the store, like they used to have like these giant binders like for each system, like whether it was like Sega or Nintendo or Super NES, and they'll just like you said, like they'll have like every single title and like what it's worth to like trade it in.
Yeah, wild that you could just have outlet at your fingertips, versus going up to some kid who's like, yeah, I'll give you a quarter for 30 of these games.
Like fuck
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean like when this game like first started and came out, like the first one, like I was 14, like I was right in high school. And it was like one of those things where I was just like, I need something new. Like I said before, like I'm a teenager. Like I need something that's like, I'm very like emotional. Like I'm mostly like all about doom and gloom at a time. Like in your teenage years, like your hormones are like everywhere, and you're just like, it's either you're depressed or you're super happy, and it's never like in between for me. How
Yeah.
it was. So like for this series, it kind of like spoke to me, like the way like the characters like were portrayed, and like the basically how cinematic it was, and the emotions behind it. And I thought it was so cool, like to have a game to have like multiple endings. So like I've never come across that at that time, like and I was more like a generic gamer, so it's like it's either like it was like a lot of Nintendo products in my house, so it was either like the NES, Super NES, or the Game Boy. And so to see something that like it's like a game that's like fully 3D, had voices in it, and I was like, whoa, this is like a completely entirely different like game and series. And then it just kind of like took hold, and like I never like let go. Like I've
Yeah.
delved into like other areas, like like Hitman, and like I tried Final Fantasy, but unfortunately it didn't take. I'm not really good at
Oh,
RPGs, and
hey,
I'm very
I
like
can't. It's not for everybody.
I'm very impatient when it comes to like
Uh,
stuff like that, where it's like I'll just like smash my controller if nothing happens.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like it was just like one of those things where it took, and it just like kept rolling with it throughout the years, even though like it's at this time I would say it's a pretty much dead franchise. Like there's nothing being done with the property game wise. Like I mean, I've seen like Konami store like saying like we're releasing, I don't know what the fuck, they're releasing a skateboard, or for Silent Hill we're releasing something for Metal Gear. I think the Redux again. I don't know.
Yeah, there's always there's
Yeah.
always rumors of reboots and remakes, but yeah. And you talked a little bit too
Mhm.
about the when you came to it being a teenager at 14, and I think there's something about the melodrama of it all too,
Mhm.
that like when you're at that age, the emotional moments that they really
Mhm.
are kind of a little ham-fisted. It's a little laid on thick and heavy a lot of times, but it works on you. And like I was there for it. It's kind of almost it can really be soap opera-y almost at
Yeah.
sometimes, but like just eating it up. And I think the genre too. Now, I don't fault you necessarily
Mhm.
for not liking Final Fantasy or something like that. That's like it's a specific flavor. But
Mhm.
the other thing but I think for you and for me too, like yeah, the Metal Gear, this just the flavor of it was
Mhm.
was just right. I think it's that action, the 80s action movie style too as well, and just all of those influences I think that Kojima had, from Bond films. I don't know if
Hmm.
you're a fan of the Bond movies or anything like that, but
Yes.
it's like a blender, Metal Gear Solid, of his like influences and all those things that I kind of grew up really loving were kind of baked into this
Hmm.
game. So yeah, I really, really got fully immersed and drawn in, and was basically picking up every sequel. I mean,
Hmm.
it's dead. It's dead now, but we were getting regular sequels from, and I was just buying any single thing that came out that was Metal Gear in the video game form.
Oh yeah, like it felt like at first, like with each like new iteration of the PlayStation, there was going to be a new sequel. And so luckily, like between for the PlayStation 2, it had like 2 and 3, so that was a little bit good in my wallet at that time. But like during those times, like after one, as soon as like I heard like previews or anything with the next one coming up, and I was like, all right, gotta keep my ears out for that one. I would usually go to like it later became going to GameStop where I was, and then just go and pre-order it, and they'll be like, we're doing a midnight release, and I was like, midnight release? Like, I'm coming for that. And then when I do go to those events, it's usually like me and 6 other people, and then from Metal Gear Solid 2, it was me and those 6 people, and we just continued to keep going to each midnight release until the final
Oh
end.
wow.
And then we were just like, we would see each other like over time and how we all aged, because we were relatively in the same age group. So it's like, it was one other kid from my high school, like, that was part of it. And so for me, for my high school graduating class was about like 2,000 people, and there's only 2 people that enjoyed Metal Gear for the whole entire class. So I was actually able to find somebody to be able to talk to during those times. And it was just like, it's like you said, like, it's just like the series, like, I think it's the combination of everything and the movie influences. And then if you break it down, it's like even more like movie influence on top of everything. Like you would just like sort of like pick it apart and see. And then, as time has gone on, people are like now telling their stories of like, I found the influence in this and such. And so, I think it's pretty cool. Like, even though it's like it's still sad, like it's somewhat like, on its, I don't know what it is. I would say like it's in a coma right now. Like it's just laying on life support. But like, we get to hear all these stories of like all these creatives like talk about it in the past, like, sending it out on social media, talking about like, what was going on, what was their influences during this time on the anniversaries of whatever title it would be. So it's pretty neat to see all that. I would ask you, like, how has the series like grown with you as you've gotten older, like when you revisit the games versus teenager as an adult?
As an adult, well,
Mm,
I think it's hard to separate um, my nostalgic experience with it. Like it'd be interesting to see somebody who has no experience visiting it as an adult. But I think
mm,
for me, visiting it as an adult, it's just like going back to that familiar feeling of playing a Metal Gear Solid game. So I would say, I don't know. That's a tough question. I think it's I don't know that it's changed much. I don't know if that like the experience for me, because I
mm.
still just love it,
Yeah.
as I play it. I don't know. Does that say that I haven't grown up at all? I'm the same person. No, I don't think so. But yeah, I would say I go back to it less.
Mm,
And so when I do go back, I've kind of been giving myself a little bit more time before I go back and
mm.
revisit, so it feels a little bit more fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have played it so many times when I was younger that it's kind of mapped.
Mm.
There's a portion of my brain that is completely dedicated to the ridiculousness that is these games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for like on my end, like, because I became a father like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and ever since then it's like I've been like super emotional, and so
Oh,
I would,
yeah.
and I don't know, maybe because it's probably hit like an emotional spot in my like in my core, having a daughter. But like going back to these games, like when we get like these emotional scenes, like especially with say like Metal Gear Solid 2. For instance, for Olga and like talking about her story, like she never met her child and any of that. I would literally be weeping with the controller in my hand, and my wife would be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I think I'm broken. Like, I feel her pain." And she'd be like, "Pull yourself together, man. It's just a game." And I'm like, "Get out of the room." He's like, "You haven't lived Metal Gear.
Now,
Get out."
And I think, now remind me, how old is your daughter?
2.
2, yeah. And my son's 2.5. So I definitely relate to that, like with things that involve, like stories that involve like somebody with a kid or something like that. Like I wasn't so cold-hearted or something before I had a kid. It wasn't like, oh, now that I've got a kid, I actually care about like these people's plights or like their there's situations with children and stuff like that. But it definitely hits differently, and you can kind of I don't know, project is the right word, but project a little bit on that. So yeah, so I don't blame you for that. Yeah, I haven't gone back to Metal Gear Solid 2 since I've had a kid, so I'll have to see if I'm right there or bawling with you. I don't know. I guess I never really put that much thought or feeling into the Olga storyline for whatever reason. And I do wonder, did I get to a point where I was skipping cutscenes and just could you skip the cutscenes?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, because I might have started to get to that point where I was just like, eventually I had played it so much that I would skip certain cutscenes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think it was only until 4 where you can actually pause the cutscenes. I think all the other like iteration was like, if you hit anything, it would just like skip the cutscene. You're like, oh shit, like I'm gonna miss vital information there.
Or you hit the triangle and it like on a codec call and it just like zips through like all the text.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like I've noticed like in the community like, where like there's young adults experiencing the series. And I would literally just deep dive into like their streaming, into the platforms and just be like, oh, I want to see like how they react to when it comes to like these titles. And it's like pretty much like an all around like experience, like what I have. Like it's sort of like I'm kind of like reliving like my moments through them and just like kind of like experiencing like what was it like if I could see myself going through these series. And it's been pretty fun. Like checking out like people like who were just like. Either they were new or they heard about it, they know like a little bit, but they really never like played it. And so to see that, like especially with the way most of these titles are like locked like into like multiple, I mean they're locked into systems that are like pretty much like outdated at this point, where backwards compatibility for this PlayStation is like non-existent, even though it's kind of promised, I think. And you pretty much have to go like physical copy, unless you want to go the route of like get a PlayStation 3 and get the Legacy Collection, which it can be a little pricey. It's pricey either way, like getting any of these things like physical copy, and it just sucks that like that they're pretty much like delisted from the digital stores for reasons that are pretty lame. It's like, oh, we forgot a copyright to pay, like let's just delist them.
I had it already on I have a modern Xbox, and I had it already, or I have it on there, and maybe I got that before they delisted it. So is it fully delisted from?
It's delisted from purchasing it, but if you purchased it, and all you gotta do is re-download it.
Yeah, so it's too bad that it's not available for purchase. That's pretty interesting, and it seems like Konami leaving money on the table, but maybe it's due to the beef with Kojima. I don't know, but yeah, that's too bad. The one that is a real bummer to me is Metal Gear Solid 4. And you talked about it was nice that there was 2 copies that came out on the PS2, so you got a little bit more time, more juice out of your console for the money spent. But I do remember waiting. I did not get a PS4 until Metal Gear Solid 4, or excuse me, a PS3, until Metal Gear Solid 4 was coming out, and so I bought it. I think I bought a used version of it, of a used PS3, and just played the heck out of it. Loved it at the time, but now it's like my PS3 is like it sounds like it sounds like an airplane. It sounds when I turn it on, it sounds like it is just going to have a meltdown if I play anything. And so sometimes I think about booting it back up, but I think I'll end up killing the PS3 if I try to play Metal Gear Solid 4 on it. Which I guess it's like, who cares? Like, you're not playing it at all anyway. What's the point? But someday I would like to go back to that, and I hope that it can become a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, and I was just say, like, I'm all in for like people like who show love to Metal Gear Solid 4, because it feels like, yes, it was very heavy on, you know, the cinematic and the cutscenes are so long and there's a lot of them. But at the time, it was like that was supposed to have been the end for that story. Like this is it. Like, we gotta wrap up everything. And I feel like for every system, this game, except for the PlayStation 1, for some odd reason, like every other system afterwards, it would like run these consoles so hard and so hot, where it, like you said before, like it would sound like an airplane, like a jet was taking off in my bedroom when I was like a teenager. Yeah. And if I left my system on for too long, I would get like that hot humidity smell.
Oh my!
And
goodness,
I would be like, I think something's burning in my room.
Oh my gosh!
And then usually it's like my mom's coming in and like, are you smoking here? I'm like, no, it's my system. Like, it's running hot right now. It's like, how long?
Meanwhile, on the background, right behind you, Snake is up there at the loading screen for whatever it was, like 10 minutes of him just smoking.
Just, like, smoking.
Are you smoking in here? Yeah.
I would say like that actually ran like hot too when that would come on. Like, for some reason, like you're just loading. Like what are you running? Like, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it was pulling. it was pulling the next section from the disc. Yeah, it was like just really intense. Like really intense for the PS3. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the PlayStation, like I bought a pre-owned one, and it was like that, like bricky looking gray one. Not like the smooth, slim one that came out later. And then, like, my cousin who would come over and play it with me, Metal Gear Solid, sometimes it would, like, freeze a little or skip. And he would be like, just flip the system over. And I'm like, what? And so I flipped it. And for some reason, like, it would read it better, the disc, if I flipped the console upside down. Huh. And I was like, this is, like, the most weirdest thing I ever, like, done.
That is very strange.
And now,
what was your first game that you got on that? Do you remember, on that gray PlayStation, that blocky gray PlayStation?
Oh, it was Metal Gear Solid. That was the first game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I didn't have that system before. It was just like, like I said before, like I was like a lot of Nintendo. Like I was doing a lot of like Game Boy back then, so I was like playing. I'm trying to remember, like around that time, it's just like, I have something in my pocket, or I can literally try to sneak into my school.
Yeah.
And, like, play like while I'm waiting in a homeroom or something. But like, for the PlayStation, like as soon as I saw it, it was like if I'm going on display, I was like, I guess
you said
game.
That was the inspiration to get the whole system itself.
That was like the first game, and like the second game I got for that system was like Siphon Filter, and it was sort of like it's sort of like different weird parallels. Like, all right, and two guys with like somewhat gravelly voices, and it's like, all right, I feel like it was more of a ripoff. Siphon Filter. And
there was a kid in my neighborhood that tried to convince me that was Siphon Filter was like the vastly superior game.
I mean, I would say it was probably like more like if you just like want to fuck around and like burn people to death with a taser, like, all right, it's good old fun, but like I'm here.
Maybe I should have been worried about that kid in the neighborhood if that was like the driving factor. Dude, you could burn people to death. Okay.
Oh yeah, because like when it came to gaming, it was my mom who was a gamer, and then also my cousin who came over a lot on weekends, and we would just like all like converge and like play all these games like nonstop on the weekend. And for Metal Gear Solid, it was like it literally took my whole weekend because all like the cutscenes and all that stuff, and it's like, it was just like that was pretty much like my first game for that console for that PlayStation 1.
Yeah. A very formative experience. Like kind of in that. Well, you said you had a 64 before the PS1.
Yeah, like you're
okay.
Right. Yeah,
so it wasn't. But so it wasn't like your first venture into like 3D or into like 3D polygonal like gaming of that generation. But we also had a 64 before that,
Mm.
but I definitely started to play a lot more PlayStation. Yeah, from that point on.
It was kind of weird because like didn't these like consoles come out like relatively at the same time?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think 64 was I think hit the market first.
Yeah.
And then yeah. And my mind was blown by that too when it came out as well. Like I was
Yeah.
a Mario 64 addict, like with my two sisters and I when we started playing that. But the PlayStation was mine. Like I ended up getting that on my own. I don't remember. I must have asked my grandparents. Yes, I asked my grandparents for one, and thankfully they were the ones I always had to go to if I wanted some sort of expensive gift. Like that was too much. I didn't have like any kind of allowance or money at that time. So yeah, so I went to them for a PS1, and that was a lot earlier. It was probably years. Again, like Metal Gear Solid was not on my radar until later. So,
okay. Let's see, like out of all like titles, like which one was your favorite one?
My favorite, I sometimes jokingly say on the Discord is whichever one I'm playing at the time. But I would say probably I am, and this is maybe a cliche to some degree, is probably Metal Gear Solid 3. So. Okay. Yeah, I think I loved 2 when it came out. I was playing the demo of that. I was reading about it, reading all the speculation about it in magazines, because once I had played Metal Gear Solid 1, like I knew, like I was fully on board for whatever else came out next. And then 3 though it was just a game that felt like it was made for me, because I really, really love the James Bond movies, as silly as they can be. And I mean, and that game is really it's a James Bond story with Solid Snake, down to even like the Snake Eater title sequence is basically the intro to, or the after the cold open of a Bond film, they have those animated titles, and it's just like that, with song and everything, and just the 60s spy era elements, and I really liked going into the PS2 era and having a game that felt like its own story, without kind of like Metal Gear Solid 2 had kind of a little bit of baggage with it in terms of, and don't get me wrong, I love Metal Gear Solid 2, but it was a little bit more, I don't know, experimental, and was really leaning on a lot with Metal Gear Solid 1, whereas like Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 3 felt kind of like their own stories. Just by making it a prequel and going back to the 60s, it didn't have to have stuff before it, and it still has nods and references to Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, obviously, but it could kind of tell its own story, and I felt like that was really, really fun, and I liked the environments, and I really enjoyed it. I think one thing that was really interesting too is we're kind of doing DLC for DLC by releasing like the subsistence version of Metal Gear Solid 3 or the substance version of Metal Gear Solid 2. They couldn't do DLC at the time, and so I would end up just buying an entirely new copy of like the same game with a few extras, which I thought was pretty interesting. I can't remember if it was a reduced price or whether it was still like a full price. Like, was Metal Gear Solid Subsistence same price as Metal Gear Solid when it was new, or was it was it like a reduced cost, like a $30 game or something? I don't remember, but I would buy the new one day one, and then buy the revised version on day one as well. So, but yeah, which one is yours? Is your favorite?
4.
4.
It's 4.
Oh,
it sounds crazy and it sounds wild, but like because the whole like stigma like about it. But for me, like, when I started this series, I was 14, and my mom played these games with me. Like she would actually sit down and like, and play with them. And like if she couldn't like get through a section, she'd be like, all right, pass the control off to me, back and forth, like, vice versa. And during those times where it's like, as with each title, with as the years went on, like her health was like kind of failing. So, for her, like 4 was like the last title that we got to enjoy and play together. Because she passed away like in 2010, and like she was like during during that time,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And during that time, like Peace Sport was coming out, and she was literally, I think, just like hanging on, like just like have those moments where her son, like kind of like enjoy these times like she can to like bond. And those are the times where it's like I really like enjoyed. So like for me and her, like 4 was our last one, and that's why it kind of holds like a special place in my heart.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And like, and now it doubles. Like now that I have a 2-year-old daughter, it kind of doubles it, because then I see like, oh, old Snake and like Otacon like being like dads to like Sunny. It's like, look at these like dads like raising this girl in this crazy PNC world.
Yeah. You're like teaching your daughter to make you eggs and stuff. Yeah. Like,
I mean, I already like introduced her to these games, where it's like I introduced like the modern ones, so it's like I can literally give her the controller and just like let her like fuck around.
Oh wow,
it's pretty much just her like crouching and standing, crouching and standing,
yeah,
kind of thing. But it's kind of funny, but like that's why like 4 like is pretty much like my favorite, because it was like the last game that like me and my mom like really enjoyed, where she can actually play it, like because unfortunately, like, it's like one of those things where it's like like you gotta take care of yourself very well, because like diabetes is like fucks you up like big time, like if you don't like monitor and check it. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like
so serious.
Like you can't like mess around. So it was one of those things where it's like she was just sick for like so many years. And
but it's really cool that you guys got to spend some really special moments, and you have these things. And it, what's great is that you can still go back to playing these games, and it doesn't have that like a negative connotation. Like it's not like I can't play that because it reminds me of that. It's I can play that because it's special to me, and it reminds me of that, and it's a positive thing. And so I think it's awesome that 4 is your favorite, and like that's I think a really unique reason. I don't know how many people choose 4 as their favorite, but you know what? I think you got I totally that makes a lot of sense. So and yeah, it's interesting too. Now I have a son, so I don't know if it would have the same impact with the Sunny thing. Again, going back to the Olga thing, you and the Olga and Olga's daughter. It's like kindred spirits, you and Olga. But
I always ask everybody, like, how did you feel, like the news around like 5 and stuff like that, where David Hayter was not like coming back to reprise the role, what would be like the final title? Like we're getting Kiefer now.
I was disappointed. I was bummed out, but still open-minded. Like I still was like, okay, well, maybe they've got their reasons for doing this, and like I don't like it as much, but I thought for Sutherland, fine, like I like to think like if it had been David Hayter, would we have gotten more lines out of it? I was bummed about it, but it was, I think I was at a point, because I've gotten older, while I really love these games, I try not to emotionally invest as much into that like element, where I'm gonna let it like ruin my day because it's Kiefer Sutherland instead of David Hayter. I just have other things to be
about.
Or upset about or something, and I was like, oh, that's a bummer, it's more than like, well, that's ridiculous, why would they do that? It's just pick my battles, I guess.
I would say like for that one, like the 5th one, like I didn't really care. Like you said, like I didn't care. It was like I wasn't like gonna like crazy and like the time go on social media and like blast like fuck this, no David Hayter, I'm not fucking buying this game or like playing it, whatever.
Right.
I did the weirdest thing though. Like I bought the game like day one, back then for like the Xbox 360, and I don't know for what odd reason I didn't play it. I kept it wrapped. So in a way, like life kind of like took over. I was working nonstop, and then I didn't pick up Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain until my wife was pregnant. So like from the game came out, I think it was like, what was it, 2013 for that one? Wait till
I don't remember.
I was gonna say like around then, maybe like 2015. Anyway,
I feel like it's either 13 or 15.
I think it might be 15.
But, okay.
Yeah.
I remember being on a trip somewhere because I wasn't able to play it away too, and I was on a trip somewhere and I had to wait for it to be delivered, and I paid way too much for it on eBay because I bought that little collector's edition, which with like they call it the baby hand, which it's like the tiny like little. You know what I'm talking about? It's the red. It's the bionic arm that you can kind of like pose and manipulate, and I still have that, but it's yeah. So you didn't play it though.
I didn't
right
play
away
it from release date all the way till like I waited to maternity leave, and then for some reason I thought like, hey, I'm gonna play this game while I'm watching my daughter, who's like just basically sleeping most of the time. I was
you
like,
just play it while they're laying on your chest.
I got headset, like let's go.
Yeah.
And then sort of like I just kept doing that up until like I kind of took my time with it, and just like from birth to 6 months I was complete with Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain 100%. I was like, nice. It's like shit, that's how it ended. I mean, obviously I knew, because being on social media you can't escape like the spoiler alerts, and it's like it's been years, so it's like I knew like what was the ending, like Venom Snake is not Big Boss. And I was like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, I don't remember Big Boss ever having this giant shrapnel in his head.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever mentioned that. Like, hey, Big Boss, like, hey, that shrapnel must have fucked you up back in the day. Like, good thing you're better now.
Right, right.
But I thought it was just, like, really funny. Like, whoa. I was like, this is how it fucking ends? Like, wow. Like, that's crazy. And then reading, like, articles, like, years after it's been released. And it's like, people are like, oh, that pain you feel, that was intentional. We wanted you to feel the Phantom Pain. And I go like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't fucking buy that for 1 minute.
I was disappointed. Yeah. Again, not angry, not yelling, but just like that was a bummer. And it just it did feel like especially like the majority of like the second act was like the most of the same same missions again. There was and I got, like I mentioned, I got that collector's edition, and then it had a DVD in it where you could see, I forget what percentage of complete it was, but like renderings for Act 3, and this fight that you were gonna have with Liquid, Little Liquid, right? In the walking Sahelanthropus or whatever. So, that was like, felt like, okay, you guys said that you wanted, or people were speculating that you were supposed to have that feeling of a phantom limb or something, but it was like clear that they were working on something more, and it was cut short. So I'm not going to side with either Kojima or Konami in it. I don't know who. I'm sure there's two sides to the story. I think Konami is incompetent. I know that Kojima could probably be. I'm sure that he could probably be challenging to to rein in, or I don't know. It's it is what it is, and I haven't gone back, but I thought about going back to 5, like probably more than the others. Like I think it would be fun to revisit. I've gone back to Ground Zeroes a few times because it's not a lot of, doesn't require a lot of time to really explore, and it feels kind of like a Hitman level Metal Gear world.
I was gonna say, like you said before, it's like I never picked a side. I never like, fucking on me. Like I'm going with Kojima. Like let's ride. I'm gonna ride or die with my boy. Because
I'd probably side with Kojima a little more, but
if that didn't happen, we wouldn't get like this crazy ass game called Death Stranding, and it's like that's a whole other like thing where it's like I'm still playing it and I'm going like, what the hell am I doing? Like I'm on a mountain. I'm like, okay, like packages. Like I kind of did this in real life. Like, do I really want to keep on playing a game where like I'm doing it again, but like in a video game format? But
did you enjoy Death Stranding then, or did you?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much like I want to say like about 60% finished with it.
Oh, you're playing it now?
Yeah, I'm playing it currently because I was able to like get back when like I want to say like a year ago where people were just like they're going through lotteries to like get the Steam decks.
Yeah,
it's like a buddy of mine bought his, didn't enjoy it whatsoever, and asked me like, "Oh, you want to buy it for me? Because I hate it." And I'm like, yeah, I want to buy it so I can play these games.
Nice.
And that's how I started getting to play Death Stranding. It's like I'm not saying like I hate it or anything. It's just like it's a whole different experience.
It is.
And for some odd reason, like I decided like to play this game by crouching and trying to like Metal Gear my way through this game. And I was like, no, I can't do this. Like this is a whole other like realm where sneaking doesn't really have effect. Where it's like I have like invisible monsters that like can grab me out of nowhere. It's like I gotta pay attention.
Right.
Now.
Yeah. And I mean, you can. Yeah, there's definitely like some like if I recall correctly, there's still like some sneaking elements of like holding your breath and like kind of
if you're too close to them.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one because it's definitely one like I 100%ed it. I'm pretty sure I platinumed it, but then one of those ones where I enjoyed it. I went through the whole experience, and I think I loved my time with it. But look back at it, like I had no real desire to play like the new, like they just did a director's cut, or they. Like whatever reason, it just didn't like. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't one where I was like, "Gosh, I really want to go back and do that again." And maybe it would be nice to wander around in that world a little bit. But and I'll play the second one when it comes out. But it just I don't know. I didn't the drained. Of it, like of the colors and like the I think it was like a bummer for me.
I was gonna say like good. I'm not the only one who feels this way. It's like I play it and like I feel like I get like more depressed as I progress through it.
I think it's supposed to make you feel that way.
Yeah, and I don't like it. I go like I don't like this feeling. I think
the music that plays like is very melancholy and sad, and I love the music, but like as somebody who has struggled with depression and things like that, like I have to be careful about like how much time like I immerse myself, or like even sometimes like that feeling can feel familiar, but I can't like dwell on it too much, so like I just have to think about that. So when I think about that game too, I'm like, oh, that was really interesting. And like, coming up over that, like the crest of that hill, and the music kicks in and stuff. And it was like, this is a really like cool or interesting experience. But then it's just like nothing really that would draws me to want to like come back to it. Like I'm happy I'm done with it, and I'll probably keep it that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say like once I finish it, like I don't think I'm gonna like bother like replaying it. Like I'm playing the director's cut because I kind of played late. Like I played like
that's a bonus. That's the benefit of like coming to it late. You get a director's cut.
Yeah, and I would say like it's pretty good. It's like I enjoy like the combat system. I enjoy like what the mission is, like delivering these packages, deliver them when they're like try to get in pristine conditions. I enjoy the whole element of like I don't even remember what the hell they're called now.
the creatures,
I
or
want to
is
call
it
them
like
invisible
the
people.
people?
Yeah, but like
Oh
I'm
yeah,
trying to remember. Like they do have a name, and it's like on the tip of my tongue. They always
yeah.
say
I,
BTs,
oh
right?
yeah, the BTs.
BTs, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and it's like I enjoyed that, and it's like kind of like watching them, like like all these, like they have like different colors and each mean differently, and the strategy behind it all. I was like, yeah, I can kind of see like it's completely different. Like I can see like the stealth elements, like kind of revisiting this again.
How's the baby thing hit you now that you're a father?
It's somewhat like, oh my god, it's kind of giving me flashbacks to
Yeah.
like the beginning, where
Yeah.
it's like I feel like I'm playing it like, oh god, I need to sleep. Like what the hell's going on here? Like this baby's crying. And it's like the BTs can hear it. Like
Yes.
what? Like I'm like, instead of like like this one's like you're supposed to, I think for the
Shake the
PlayStation
control.
you should play the controller. You shake
Yeah.
like the whole Steam Deck
The whole
with
Steam
it.
Deck.
Yeah, we're so like I'm moving the Steam Deck as
Huh.
it's like playing, and I was like, all right, I'm getting a little dizzy now. It's like quiet, baby, quiet.
I
It's
didn't
like,
know.
we gotta sneak through.
And does it the Steam Deck? So the Steam Deck has the accelerometers or whatever. It's got actually recognize when you're shaking it. Wow. I have one. And I feel like, oh goodness, if I keep shaking this thing, is it good for it? You know?
Like,
Yeah.
exactly. That's all that's all I could think about. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right,
It's because
I
it's a
can't
difference
fall.
between it's a big difference from like a a $50 controller or something to like, oh my gosh, I shook my Steam Deck to death. So yeah.
But yeah, I would say like for that game, it's like it's enjoyable. I can see myself going there, and especially with the whole like fighting like Cliff. I want to say like I was gonna call him just Mads. I was like fighting Mads. Listen, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like, all right, I'm going through these battle zones. Kind of
thing. It feels too separate from like the way that you're interacting with the rest of the game. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It feels out of place a little bit, and I mean, I guess a little credit that it's not all watching a cutscene. You're actually getting to participate. So maybe that's some growth on Kojima's part. But I think the and like the other loops, like you're talking about, the package delivering is I think is really it's fine, doing that and different like missions and submissions of those things. It is fun.
Yeah.
And building roads and motorcycles, like I really enjoyed that. Was the one thing I was really always trying to do first, was build the roads, like, and figure out how to like make it so I could traverse a lot easier. Or the zip lines was a lot of fun, like really cool stuff in that game. And so like I would say like, yeah, I'm glad I experienced it. I'm glad I played it, and it's I think it's worth playing and I could recommend to somebody. But it's just weird to be able to recommend something but not like wanna whack,
Yeah, no, it's like one of those things where it's like I enjoyed my time, but I don't want to revisit you, kind of thing. And I was going to ask you, like, did you rebuild like a bunch of roads and stuff like that and zip lines?
I built the roads. I think I guess so. Yeah, I did a lot of that, and then the lines I kind of that I would call it rebuilding. I would end up like just building ones in places where it made sense for me to. I don't know if I can't remember if you could the roads. I felt like were like specifically in a spot, like you weren't choosing where to. You couldn't choose where to build those, but the zip lines you could, and I did that a lot. Yeah,
because I'm trying to remember. Like I don't remember if it was you or maybe someone else. They were discussing that they build a shit ton of stuff in Death Stranding, and it's like one of these things like with this game, it's like you could all, no matter if it was like PC or PlayStation, you all are on the same like area where it's like you can see other people like built blah 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 and such.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to remember like if you use your name, like your gamer thing, like I'm trying to remember like did I see like do you use your name, like do you use your name Nick?
No, well, I don't think so, but I don't remember what it shows you. Like I don't know if it shows you like my first name or like my gamer tag, because I definitely built like a ton of stuff, and I remember like to the point where I would get like a lot of like I would log on and I just get like
all these likes,
tons of likes, yeah, like from wherever I had built it, which that's cool. Like that's a cool element. That helping each other out, our Sams.
Like for like the whole entire series and this whole franchise, what would you say like would be would you consider like do you have like a favorite character, like if whether it be a snake or a non-snake? Like there's no honestly, like there's no cop-out answer. Like everyone usually is different anyway.
I mean, I do like Snake. Whether it's the big boss version or Solid Snake. Yeah, you said no cop-out answers. That one feels like a cop-out answer. But I also I think like in terms of like there's some that I like to quote in my head more. Like I'd say like I really like how ridiculous Liquid Snake is and his delivery, and I really like Ross a lot. As far as I'm trying to think if there are other favorite characters. Is your favorite character Johnny Sasaki?
I joke about it, go like, hey, I'm named after Johnny, by the way, like we share the same name kind of thing. But I would say like almost like for like pretty much like everyone else, like I enjoyed Solid Snake, aka David, and I really like it solidified with 2, like the fact that you're not him anymore. And Metal Gear Solid 2, where it's like he is like a main character, but you're playing Raiden for this one, and it's sort of like I get to see the character from the outside. Yeah, and I kind of saw like that that aging between the first one and the second one, and how his character has gone through from Shadow Moses going on to like this new thing now, where it's like he's kind of ventured on his own with him and Otacon, literally exposing all these like whoever has like a Metal Gear, like whether it's like whether like for Snake, like he was like a person of the military and special forces, and he's pretty much like gonna expose, I think it was like the Marines, right? It's like they have a Metal Gear Ray, like we're gonna like show the world, like no matter who has what, like we're gonna like show everyone like these Metal Gears are like, don't fucking have them. Like, they're bad news. Like, every time someone has it, some shit goes down, and I gotta go in and destroy it, kind of thing. And I kind of enjoyed that. I kind of enjoyed, like, the character. Like, obviously, the age part, because of the whole Fox die and these clones are, like, accelerated aging as well. But, like, seeing the character from the outside, I get to see him, like, kind of, like, struggle, and then, like, seeing him, like, pop a smoke, and it's like, all right, it's like I'm seeing him like versus like, I played him, and now I'm seeing him through Raiden's eyes, where it's like that kind of solidified for me to like enjoy this character even more.
That's cool. It is cool to take it from the shift the perspective, and I do just, and then even get to fight alongside him, and you're like, oh cool, I'm fighting with my hero. So there's one thing that you do get to do, and 2 that you don't really get to do else that I can
I think so.
Remember. Like you pretty much such a backlash after that too, that they probably were like, we probably shouldn't do that again. But it worked.
I was gonna say, like, was there like, how big was the backlash? Because I wasn't really like paying attention to like
it didn't bother me.
Stuff.
It didn't bother me at all, and I was still into it, even playing as Raiden. It didn't bother me. But like people were mad. People were returning their games from what I heard about. I didn't really read about it as much because or see it, but I just had heard that. I mean, I don't think internet forums were quite like as big as they
like today
at that time. Time, so there wasn't as much.
I think then it was like chat rooms, it was like game and stuff.
But I think a lot of people were returning copies, like from what I heard, and there's probably some backlash on, like, I used to started going really early on into like game FAQs. I don't know if you ever used that website, but
Mm-hmm.
in the message boards on there, that was probably where I saw three folks. But yeah, people weren't happy. And then like Metal Gear Solid 3 was a touch of an apology to her, or like even like Metal Gear Solid 2's Substance had like the snake tails might have been like an olive branch, like here, play a snake in the big shell, like we know you didn't get to, even though they're hollow in terms of like the content. But
blank right now. That's where like I've gone to right now. I mean, anything else that you were thinking about bringing?
Really, for me, my this is the piece of being a dad that I'm sure you relate to, is that it's harder and harder to stay up later and later.
Oh God, yes. Like I'm actually like getting like sleepy as we're talking. Like if you see me like doing this, like I'm not under any influence of anything. Like, you know, sometimes I will take like
I wouldn't judge you if you were.
It's like I'm either on beer or on edibles.
Yeah.
When I'm usually doing the podcast to kind of like help me like mellow out and like relax and not be so anxious to talk. So sometimes when I do talk to people, I'll do that frantic blah, 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 real quick, and they're like, "Holy shit! Like, dude, what did you fucking say?" kind of thing. But yeah, like you said, like I have trouble like staying up late.
Yeah.
And so it's like one of those things. But here we go. Like you said before, dude, I bought the like Substance and Subsistence. Like you said, like I had to have them, and I'm sure I think they were like in between prices, and I bought them and never fucking played them until like later on. And I was like, and people would be like, "Wait a minute, you bought third ones?" Like, dude, the camera changes. And I go like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, it does. Like, what? It's like that changes completely.
Yeah, and I remember people really mad about that too. And again, I don't know if I was just so much there for it and a fanboying or something, where it didn't bother me. Like the camera angle didn't bother me at all. Like, and I don't know why. I think it was just everything else about it was like, oh well, I'm loving the hell out of this. Like I can live with the camera and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like, kind of like the you know, like Metal Gear Solid 1, where it was the top down with a limited view, and I get it, you know, it's the PS2 era and there are different expectations, and Metal Gear Solid 2 wasn't like that, so but yeah, people were not pleased with that either.
You know, I was in talking with you, I'm like remembering all sorts of stuff people were hating during this franchise, and I'm thinking to myself like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, you're right, like this kind of like preordained like DLCs, like repackaged. They used to call them like collector's edition instead of the name sometimes when you bought them. But like, yeah, like nowadays it's like you might not get a game that's complete, or it might need a patch to actually operate it, and it's like, I've gone to I'm like that old guy now. Like back in my day, we had complete games and they were on physical copies.
But instead, they just sold us an entire new copy of the game with a few extras. Like, nowadays you would be able to buy like snake skateboarding for $3, or buy individual snake tails for $2 a snake tail, you know. But yeah, instead you're paying like the full price again for the game. But in your case, like you bought, like with Death Stranding, you bought they're doing director's edition still, or director's cut, and so it's kind of the same thing, same and again. But if you're coming to it later, it's, you know, it's kind of nice because you get the whole thing and all the add-ons. But price does go back up again. Yeah. So if you can wait even longer, you buy the director's cut for sale for $15-20, and then you get everything for that. So But it's just how long you can wait, and I was not going to wait for your content. But it's funny that you like didn't at all. Like you got it, you bought it, and then just.
It's like, you know, I don't even know what happened during that time. Like, I must have been like so busy at work. Like, I would just go to work, come home, and pass out, kind of situation. But like during that time, it's like I kind of like I would look at it on my shelf, and it was like it was still wrapped in plastic. And that I don't know what it's called, like, and I would just be like, I kind of want to play it, but then I kind of don't want to play it. Like, I'm gonna have to invest a lot of time for this to go through, kind of thing.
Be honest, you were just playing Siphon. Never going back to Metal Gear. I'm just gonna play this Siphon Filter game, which is the best game.
And now that's ended.
I could yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't even. I don't know that I ever actually. I think I played Siphon Filter a little bit at that same kid's house that said it was the greatest. And then I played it again because it was a part of PlayStation Click Edition or whatever it is.
Yes,
it
was the classics.
Yes, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a try, and then I played a little bit of that. I turned it off and went back to playing some Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, so, it doesn't hit right. It doesn't hit.
Yeah. It shows its age quite a bit. So.
Oh God, yes. Snake's Revenge. Like, what was that? Like, I remember like hearing you on Metal Gear Mondays about it, and I was like, I never even heard of this game before. I was like, what? Like Snake's Revenge? Like, but hearing you guys' story, I was like, oh, thank God I did not play that. Like, how did you? I think you went through the whole game. Like, you actually played through the whole game. Like, others may have like just written, like watched like playthroughs.
Yeah, I pressed through. I forget who else was it? Leo and Sam, I think, were also playing it. If I remember correctly, but they didn't make it all the way through.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to that episode since we did it. Yeah, it was one of the episodes of Metal Gear Mondays, and it truly is like it's a really bad game. It's it's one I certainly won't go back to. But yeah, I was on a few episodes. I think we did one on that. I did one on Port Ops, which I do think is worth a visit. I think it's a cool. It's not like what's Peace Walker, you know, but you can see the DNA there, and there's some interesting things. There's just some quality of life things that came with Peace Walker that are better, but it's still, I think, a Gear Solid or a Metal Gear story. And on for one of the Metal Gear Solid 4 episodes and stuff, but Metal Gear Solid Snake's Revenge is that's the worst game in the series, like any way you cut it. So stay away from it.
I was gonna say, is it worse than Survive?
I've not played Survive, actually.
I've not either.
So I think when it was gonna, I think there was a demo that they released of Survive, and I think I played the demo of it, and I was just like, this isn't doing it for me. It felt like a game that was like a time waster. Like you were gonna go through this loop, play again and again and again without like I don't know. And maybe that's not the case, and maybe I think I own Survive. Like I think I probably bought it on like a super low sale since it wasn't a popular game. But and maybe someday I'll go and check it out. But there's too many other things to do before submitting to that.
And then that was actually the last thing I was thinking about. I was like, oh, wait, remember Snake's Revenge. I'm like, all right. It's like, it kind of disappeared in my brain as I was talking to you. I was like, let's ask Nick something.
It was a fun episode. It was fun, talk about Snake's Revenge, and it's comedically bad. So there's some very funny things in that really bad game too. So maybe listen to that episode rather than play it or watch
Yeah.
watch a playthrough or something. Um, but thanks for having me, Johnny.
Yeah,
It's
I would
been
say
always fun to talk Metal Gear.
I would say thanks for coming on, and thank you for being so flexible with the schedule.
Oh
And
yeah, likewise.
if anybody wants to reach you, are you anywhere on social media? Like, I don't know. Sometimes fans want to converse,
Yeah,
community-wise.
not really. I mean, I'm on Discord. So if you end up coming to if you're a Metal Gear, certainly you're a Metal Gear fan if you're listening to this, but if you're not part of the Discord, I'm a moderator there for the MGM or the Metal Gear Mondays Discord, and I'd say it's a fun one to join with a good group of people. If you're a good person too, it's a welcoming place. And just behave yourself because I'm a moderator there, and wielding my band hammer. But other than that, I don't really have I don't have a social media presence quite in the same way. So
hey.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's also kind of a good thing. Where
I think so. Yeah.
Step away from it all.
Exactly. So
no
paper trails too. So
thank you again, Nick, for coming on to the episode of Metal Gear Resurrections. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.